Previously on D.I.V.A. At the end of the day, the final team standing is the Oakland Raiders. So they acquire him for a laughable sum, a 3rd and a 5th round pick. Rewarding his evolution into a completely unlikable cancer, the Oakland Raiders suddenly developed a windfall of money and rewarded Antonio Brown's temper tantrum. It's a payment near equal to his ego. A $20 million pay raise, over $30 million guaranteed. Antonio Brown. His entrance into Raider Nation was a harmonious time. It was an escape from a toxic situation. The Steel City had betrayed him. They would not placate to his demands any longer. With his trade to Oakland and over $30 million of guaranteed money, a new age would begin. Antonio would shed the toxic uniform of the black and gold for the liberation of silver and black. His opening press conference with the team would confirm just that. As he arrives late to it. Easy to excuse, you say. He may have been busy with other endeavors. Perhaps he was caught in other team activities. Everything would be fine. He will turn a new leaf, hold his teammates accountable for their actions. He should note that these words would help him forge a better relationship with his new coaches and teammates. Unlike the Steelers, Oakland will do everything in their power to keep him in line. Whatever was tolerated by his former team would be clearly not on the West Coast. During this time, AB would enjoy the benefits of cryotherapy in France. To rejuvenate him, to make him the best athlete he can truly be. Unfortunately for him, there are these nasty safety recommendations that AB failed to follow in terms of foot protection. The result was extreme frostbite, limiting him from his intense training regimen in the camp that is to come. But our friend Antonio would not be one-upped by anyone in this regard. Last year he arrived to camp by means of private helicopter, but he would need to make this one special. A new team deserves a new start. The wonders of the hot air balloon. No, there was absolutely no need for subtlety, especially after the off-season of escapades went for him. He doesn't need to since he won't be participating in the first few weeks of camp due to the frostbite. After that healed up though, it should be smooth sailing and heading to peace, right? Well, not if the NFL would have anything to do with it. It unfortunately turns out his preferred helmet, the Shut Air Advantage, no longer met the league's minimum safety requirements. He wasn't the only one. Tom Brady also had this dilemma over the past year, but has chosen to change to a new helmet. AB was not someone to be tamed, however. He wanted his precious helmet no matter what. He would even threaten retirement if he didn't get his wish. Seriously though, man, giving up tens of millions of dollars over a fucking helmet? Come on. The antics were starting to pile up like a crash on the Golden Gate Bridge and nothing would stop it. Brown, in his rather diva-ish ways, chose to make a public spectacle. He filed a grievance against the NFL for the helmet, only for it to be denied. As a result of the helmet issue, he proceeded to no-show practice. I know, shocking considering his past year of behavior. It's at this point where the Raiders are starting to have enough of his shit. They were once supportive of his plight, but now they know he's pushing it too far. A lesson needed to be learned. He was either all in or all out for the team. Most normal people would give it up and simply settle on the new helmet, despite the inconveniences they may or may not bring. You may notice by now Antonio Brown is not normal. He took to social media to secure an updated Shut Air Advantage helmet for the season. It appears that he did succeed in securing one, only for the NFL to deny it as well. A second grievance was filed towards the Shield, and unsurprisingly rejected. It was fortunate that he was able to find a new helmet to wear, so we can put this whole saga behind us and focus on what Antonio does best. It's at this time when we come to a dilemma. Is AB's best ability catching the football or creating incredible distractions? Once again, the Raiders are trying to corral the ego of Antonio Brown. They are practicing tough love by holding him to the same standard as everyone else. Cumulative fines of $53,000 for the practice no-show and not participating in a mandatory walkthrough are levied. This is where things get very convoluted. In most circumstances, a player would accept the fines and deal with them privately. You would guess, yes, but even worse. He published the official documentation of the fines on social media, criticizing them despite being completely in the wrong. No, Mr. Brown, you have no leverage here. They aren't hating, they're just trying to enforce their own goddamn rules. You're just chucking rocks at a hornet's nest. Next, you will tell me that Raiders management will get angry that AB went over their heads. Hold on, let me express generalized shock. Mike Mayock wants his team to know that nobody is above the law, and yes, this includes the diva in question. Unlike in Pittsburgh, they're not going to bury everything in order to placate him. They will confront him on his actions. Antonio, unsurprisingly, did not take this well. He was openly hostile with Mayock, verbally assaulting him for damaging him and his character. In typical bridge-burning fashion, he threatened to punch him in the face. When in doubt, threatened physical violence. In fact, upped the ante by calling him a cracker and a bitch. That's definitely the way to get in management's good graces. To top it all off, he punted a football and said, "Find me for that." Be careful, if it's a 50-yard punt, you may be stuck on special teams duty. Even more than being restrained by Von Tez during the exchange. Yes, that one. Probably won't happen since the big statement was made. He unfollowed the Raiders and Derek Carr on Instagram. Considering he lives on social media, this is probably more damning than anything. Like, dude, what are you doing? We scorned bridesmaids in Pittsburgh knew any team you went to was going to have their hands full, but to implode before playing it down? You do realize that everyone now thinks the return the Steelers got is a steal, right? All you're doing is proving every one of your critics right. And it may cost you everything. The Raiders plan on suspending Antonio for an undetermined period of time. If the dice roll a certain way, it may even cost AB nearly all of his guaranteed money. They could cut him for no penalty if they so desired, if this is the case. It doesn't matter the talent if you can't get onto the field, you know? Where does this lead the Raiders? Will Antonio Brown get the message and focus on his talents? Is Mike Mayock trying too hard to be a hard ass? Does John Gruden have to make a tough decision regarding this brewing civil war? We will answer that right now. They will do nothing. AB is not suspended and will in fact be starting in week 1 of the NFL season, thus guaranteeing his money for 2019, undercutting Mayock and making him into an organizational puppet. The Raiders just look really spineless here. You had a situation to tell your team that nobody was above the logo on the helmet, yet Gruden chose to appease a diva's fragile ego. Remember, they said the worst was over when they gave Hitler the Sudetenland. Everyone knows this will flare up again, it's only a matter of when. What a joke. In the meantime, I once again wanted to thank Sports Betting Dime for sponsoring this video. Remember, their championship trackers are your friend. Use them often.